Today, we're diving into something truly special, the Töparápará. It's this incredibly profound ceremony from the Bubi people of Biako Island. And it's about so much more than just a new baby. It's about their sacred journey into our world. So let's get right into it. To really wrap our heads around this ritual, we've got to start with this foundational belief. For the Bubi people, birth isn't, well, it's not just a biological thing. It's a metaphysical event. Think about that. It's a journey from one realm, the invisible world of the ancestors, into our physical world. And right away, that completely changes how you see the act of birth. It becomes this huge spiritual journey. So that leads to the big question, right? The one we're going to unpack here. If a child is literally crossing a cosmic threshold, how does a community welcome them? I mean, what are the actual steps, the symbols? What does it all mean? That's what this ceremony is all about. All right, so let's start with the name itself, because as is so often the case, the word, the name, it holds the very first clue to understanding the whole thing. And what's so cool here is just how literal the name is. You break it down, right? You've got to, which is a prefix that means small, and then you have para, which means to mark or to anoint. So put it together, Töparápará literally translates to anoint with small marks. It's so simple, but that description points us directly to a key physical act at the heart of the ceremony. But here's the thing. That journey from the invisible world, it doesn't just stop at birth. The Bubi have this absolutely beautiful concept of a second womb. So after leaving the mother's physical womb, the baby enters what's called the Tiobo Olobobi, the house of rearing. And this isn't just, a nursery. It's a truly sacred, protected space. The child can stay there for up to 2 years, shielded by the watchful eyes of ancestral spirits and the elders, until they're finally ready for their formal introduction to the world. Okay, so the Töparápará, the ceremony itself, that marks the baby's first official exit from that second spiritual womb. And it's not a casual affair. This is a highly structured event, built around 8 distinct sacred acts. So let's break them down. Yeah, look at this. This is so much more than just a party. It's a carefully choreographed spiritual event. It actually kicks off the night before with a call to the ancestors, the Ilukiera. Then you get to the main event, bringing the baby out for the first time, making offerings to the spirits, and purifying the mother. But check out step 5, the communal unction. This is where everyone present is anointed, connecting them all. Then come the really big moments, the naming of the child, the giving of gifts, and it all wraps up with a final blessing for a protected life. Every single step here is crucial. Right, so a ceremony this important, this significant, it's going to need special guides, right? People who can connect the visible world to the invisible one, and it needs powerful symbols to get its meaning across. So let's take a look at who and what makes this whole ritual work. Okay, so you have 2 main figures who lead the ceremony. First, there's the Wairibo. She represents the mother's clan, the mother's spirit. And her presence is, well, it's non-negotiable. Seriously, without her, the ancestors just wouldn't accept their ritual. She's seen as the ultimate protector of that child's life. Then, balancing her out, you have the Roboway. She's a woman from the father's maternal clan, and her job is to represent and honor the paternal lineage. So together, they literally weave the 2 families into the child's spiritual DNA. And this brings us to the central symbol of the entire ritual, the tola. This red substance is what they use for the anointing, but it's not just some kind of paint. No way. It's a deeply powerful symbol of the blood relationship, of the shared life force that connects every single member of the maternal clan, the Karadiobo. So when they apply it to the face, the arms, the legs of everyone there, they're visually and spiritually screaming to the world, we are one, we are connected, our bond is unbreakable. Okay, now here is where things get really fascinating. Because while all of the Bubi people practice this ceremony, its core meaning, and even what they call it, can actually change depending on where you are on the island. Just look at this comparison. Down in the south, the ritual is called Töparápará, and the big focus is on the anointing, right? The act of anointing. The whole point of the ceremony is about the formal acceptance and incorporation of the baby into the family. But you go up to the north, and the focus completely shifts to the oboa, the act of bringing out. There, the ritual is much more about the child's first public presentation to the whole community. It's the same fundamental ritual, but with this really interesting, nuanced shift in what matters most. And you can actually see this difference in the language they use. While the South has the one name, Töparápará, the North has a whole bunch of names for it, like Opubadlo etiobo or Obodyo tiobo. And there's even this great popular phrase from Pidgin English, pulnado, which literally means pull to the outside. I mean, this linguistic variety just perfectly captures that Northern emphasis on bringing the child out into the public eye. So, what does this all boil down to? We're seeing one people, one core ceremony, but two distinct, valid interpretations living side by side. And it just goes to show you, tradition isn't some static thing locked away in a museum. It's a living, breathing part of a culture that adapts to what a community needs and values. And that leaves us with a final question to ponder. How does a single ritual manage to hold different, equally true meanings for the same people? And what does that teach us about the beautiful, messy, wonderful complexity of tradition itself?